Hello, everyone. Thank you for stopping by and clicking on this video. My name is Andre. I'm currently a scientific intern here at the DAS group at ISTA, and I have the incredible fortune of introducing to you Panza Mail. Not only that, I have the fortune of introducing the new Google Chrome extension that we've written that allows you to use Panza directly within your Gmail. So I will assume since you've clicked on this video, you might have an idea of what Panza is, but for those of you that don't, essentially what Panza is it's a framework that allows you to fine-tune an LLM on your local emails that allows you to generate email responses that are entirely in your own style so that you can actually benefit the results of this fine-tuning process. Now, what this tutorial is going to be about is I'm going to show you exactly how you can spin up a Panza web server that will allow you to perform queries to the server to generate responses to a particular email prompt that you've written directly within your Gmail. So at this point, I would have assumed that you've correctly set up everything that you need for Panza. So the first thing that you need to do is to sort of clone the repository, the Panza mail repository from the GitHub, and followed the README descriptions inside all of that leads you through the environment setup, the fine-tuning procedure, how you can download the emails, and some advanced topics if you so choose to look at that, and that you've gone through that entire process and ultimately produced a fine-tuned model or a trained model that you can use for inference. Now, the second thing I would have assumed is that you've successfully downloaded the Google Chrome extension that we've provided to your local Google Chrome instance. Now, if you've done all of this, we're ready to proceed with the rest of the tutorial. Okay, so we're finally ready to spin up the Panza web server that will allow us to actually query a local fine-tuned model from our browser extension in Gmail or in Google Chrome. So you will notice that I am in my VS Code instance here, and I've set up my environment entirely to use Panza. So what I've done is I've first cloned the GitHub repository. You can see this with Panza Mail, and I've changed my directory to the scripts directory because this is where we need to be to actually run the web server. Not only that, but I've installed all the requirements that I need, and I've activated the environment. You can see this by the Panza environment activation here. Now to actually run the web server, I have to do a few things. So this is optional if you have a GPU, but I'm specifying that I want to use this specific device. But this is less optional, and you actually have to specify the API key that the server should use. Now, since the browser extension is a beta release, we're hard coding the API key to be Panza beta. Now, to actually spin up the web server, we make a call to the Python script runner.py, where we specify that my user is a Jovanov. I want the web interface. We also have other interfaces like a CLI or a GUI. I want to use the PEFT model, and I want to use the latest checkpoint. Now, all of this will work if you have fine-tuned a model on your local emails using the Rosa fine-tuning method. Obviously, you can adjust the various hyperparameters if you've used full fine-tuning or if you don't want to use the Panza extension, but instead to use a CLI, for example. But when we click enter, this will actually spin Panza up in the background, and you will see that you will be greeted with this lovely ASCII art here saying that we've launched Panza. And this will have all the logs of this correct setup in the background. But what's really important is once you've set up the web server, you should see that the port forwarding, at least on VS Code, comes up automatically. So this forwards the connection from the remote server onto my local instance. Now, if you're running this on your local machine, you don't have to do port forwarding, or if this is not done by VS Code automatically, you have to do this yourself. But now that we've spun up the web server, we can actually move over to Google Chrome and to craft our own Gmail message. Right, so we see that now we've moved away from the VS Code instance, and now we're in Gmail. And this new message window is exactly like it would appear on Gmail. But the only thing that is different is that we have this tiny little Panza logo here in the toolbar. So if you install the Google Chrome extension correctly, you'll see this Panza logo appearing. Now, in order to actually use Panza, you just have to create a prompt that you want Panza to respond to. So for today, my prompt is write an email to Jen to schedule a meeting for tomorrow to discuss Panza. Then to use Panza, all you have to do is literally click the icon, and it generates the email for you in real time. And the output is, "Hi Jen, I hope that you're well. I was wondering if you could schedule a meeting for tomorrow to discuss Panza. Kind regards, Andrei Ivanovic." Now, the first thing that we see that is really cool is that it generates an email for you on the fly, and I didn't have to do anything. The second thing is that we can see that this email is entirely written in my style. It does not have this like typical LLM overgeneration with like expressive prose. It is, I always say, "I hope that you are well," and the content is relatively succinct and to the point. Now, with this email, I can directly click send and send this off to Jen, and I will be happy, and I have no further work to do. Now, this is basically the end of the tutorial. If you're interested in finding out more about Panza and how you can dive deep into the advanced features, so the different types of fine-tuning that we support and perhaps different types of inference interacting with the CLI and the GUI, all of this information we've documented in the README. So, this brings us to the end. I hope that you really enjoyed this tutorial, and we can't wait for you to start using Panza, and we really hope that you'll share our enthusiasm for it.